What is going on, everybody? This is Audible Sports. All right, we got Brett and Jeff here today. How's it going, Brett?
Good.
That's good.
Excited to be here.
Oh, me too. There's a lot of football to talk about. But before we get into the football, just want to congratulate the Atlanta Braves for beating the Houston Astros in 6 games to win the World Series. America wins when the Astros lose. But, that's baseball. That's the baseball for the day. It's going to be a little while till we talk about more baseball. But it'll be back. Don't you all worry. But
Not the Cubs. White Sox maybe.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay,
But
moving on.
yeah, moving on. Let's talk about some football. Last week, week 8, was probably the worst we all did in picking games. There was a lot of backup quarterbacks decided to win a lot of games last week.
Yep.
So, Brett, second week in a row, you had the best record. Maybe not as well as last time, but you went 8-7.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and then Cody went 6-9, and then I went a magnificent 5-10. Yeah, it was one of those kind of weeks. But hey, we're all.
I think my child could pick randomly better than that.
Oh, definitely. But this week, it's gonna all change. We're gonna do a lot better this week in picking games, not because the games are easier, but just we're a week smarter. So this week, Thursday night football game, we got New York Jets coming to this state right here in Indiana to face the Indianapolis Colts. You think Mike White, backup quarterback for the Jets, has another miracle game into him to win this game? Yeah, I don't either. Maybe we should. Who knows? Maybe it took all these years of not playing a single game and just being a backup. Maybe he's gotten something into him now.
Maybe. I mean,
Next Kurt Warner.
The other thing is I don't have any faith in the Colts either. Though. I have more faith than I do in the Jets.
I have a lot more faith in the Colts.
Yeah, but the Colts just, in my opinion, they're an underperforming team, and they've been underperforming for 2 years.
Well, yeah, but they still been, even when they're underperforming, they're still performing at a very good rate.
You could say they're 3-5, and the Jets are 2-5.
Yeah, but look at the competition that the Colts have played, especially in those early weeks. Seattle with the healthy Russell Wilson, the Rams.
I'm just
Titans twice.
Yeah, it's tough because the Colts should be at least 500 in my opinion.
Yeah, we'll see. Kind of.
I'll go Indy though. So
yeah, I'm gonna go Indy too. It'll be interesting to see, maybe with the Colts getting some easier games, how their schedule will fold. They still got games within the division, not that aren't the Titans. So, I think especially with Derrick Henry going down for the Titans, it'll be interesting to see how the rest of their schedule folds.
Once the Jets make the wild card in the playoffs, because
I'm saying this right now. If the Jets make the wild card, I will shave my entire body.
I'm just saying here, if you look at their division, yes, we know Buffalo's got it. It's not if they win this game, they go on a little hot streak. It's not out of the question as a wild card, the 7th seed.
Okay. And then what, do you think if they win this game and Mike White plays well that he should be the starter moving on?
Well, I'm basing it like that division is pretty wide open besides Buffalo.
New England's starting to
the 6 or 7 seed could both be from that division because of how easy the competition is. They'll suck. Where it's a lot. Look at the AFC West. That's a top. 3 teams could come out of there, but they beat the crap out of each other. That's why I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. It's
yeah.
Like this season, we never would have guessed half of this game, so it just is.
Definitely not. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this game goes. It's prime time. Who's gonna show up at prime time? But next game we got the Cleveland Browns heading to Cincinnati, who's trying to bounce back from a game they lost against the Jets. You also have a lot of the situation with the Cleveland Browns and the Odell situation, and kind of how much is that going to kind of take a hold of how they play?
I think it's already taken a hold.
I think so.
And it won't it be his first game back?
If he plays, he's sat out the
If he,
last. They've
yeah,
they've told him
exactly.
to sit out the last 2 practices.
So first game back, Odell situation. I mean, on paper the Browns are a more talented team, but the Bengals have been playing. Besides losing to the Jets, they're a young team. They just say this a lot. I just think they're just playing at a high level.
Yeah, the thing that worries me though is that Browns D line pretty good. Bengals O line pretty bad.
The only
And
game that makes the
Burrow.
Browns D line look outstanding is the Bears game. They
There's,
haven't had
I
any
mean, the
other.
Minnesota game, they same thing happened. Kirk
But
Cousins.
they even with those two games, they're not in the top 2 or 3 in sacks. That tells you something.
No,
They're
but you all.
spurty.
Yeah, well, who knows? Maybe this is the next spurt.
Well, it doesn't matter if their offense can't perform.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big game though, because whoever wins it is second in the division. I mean, actually, I take that back because Steelers could be in the mix. Steelers are in the mix. If the Browns win it, then the Steelers will be second. But and if
Maybe
the
they
Steelers win who they play
they
against, but
greased Big Ben's wheels. No, I don't know. He just seems to be
yeah,
playing a
we'll
little
talk
better.
about Big Ben a little bit later. But who do you think is gonna win this?
Cincy.
Yeah,
I got the Bengals for sure. I can't. The Browns are the Browns still. They just are.
yeah, I'm gonna go Cincy. It's just too much of a struggle in Cleveland with the issues and Odell and all that. I mean, I think they definitely could win this, but I'm gonna go Cincy. I don't think it'll be a close game though.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be close.
But next up, we have next game that probably won't be so close. We have the Broncos heading to Dallas, play the Cowboys. I think even if Dak doesn't play this game, Cowboys have this easily.
My expectations for Dallas have always been so mediocre that it's hard for me to take them as a serious contender right now.
Well, even if
But
it's not a serious contender, they're playing Denver. I mean, they just traded away the, franchise player.
you gotta go. I'm still gonna go Dallas. It's like a 55-45 for me on this one, percentage wise.
Oh, I was gonna say that better not be their final score.
No, but I'm gonna go Dallas.
All right. Yeah, I just Denver with them trading Von Miller shows signs of not too much competition this year and what they feel.
Rebuilding.
Um, it's just a matter of weeks before they probably fire Vic Fangio at this rate, especially with that defense playing horrible. We'll see. Maybe if they get blown out this week, he will be, but
Yep.
I don't know. We'll see. But this next game maybe isn't a fun one to watch for how competitive and good it'll be, but for how much these two teams have been playing at a very low level. We have the Houston Texans going into Miami to play the Dolphins. These
It's
teams 1-7. Both of these teams haven't won since week 1. What
I
do you
gotta go
think?
Houston.
You gonna go Houston?
And the reason I say that is because this is I don't even like using this statement, but it's such a wide range. They're more stable at quarterback.
I'm assuming with Tyrod Taylor expected to play, you're saying that.
I don't know why you make a change. I guess you gotta try. With even the, I just think Houston's got it. I don't know. Something just my gut tells me Houston.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Houston here too. Miami's just I don't even know what
I mean,
they.
here their quarterback situation is way worse than Houston's because they have Tua who has no confidence,
And
and
the whole
we
reason
don't
he
even know
doesn't
if he's
have.
gonna play. If he does, he hasn't shown anything in the NFL, in my opinion.
Eh, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I don't know. I think I mean just the whole
We have
situation in
opinions. That's why
Miami.
we have opinions.
Exactly. Um, just the whole situation with Miami and them trying to trade for potentially we're trying to trade for Deshaun Watson, and we've been saying it every week. That's got to mess with Tua. Tua didn't look that bad against Buffalo, but I don't know. It just Houston. I feel like this is a game for Houston to win, especially if Tyrod starts. Next game, we got a NFC South showdown. We got the Atlanta Falcons coming in New Orleans after a really good win against Tampa Bay. I think New Orleans keeps up the pace. The Falcons have not looked well, and New Orleans, even with a backup quarterback, if Taysom Hill plays well, gets some playing time. I don't know how he. I know he was injured.
So you're going New Orleans.
I'm going New Orleans.
I gotta go Atlanta.
Really?
Atlanta's old, but in a game, the only two good Saints wins, in my opinion, three good wins: Packers and both Tampa games. That's it. And that's for some reason they play those teams at a high level, but then you see them play like crap against mediocre teams like Atlanta.
Yeah. I mean, it does feel kind of like one of those games Atlanta would lose, or not Atlanta, New Orleans would lose. But
Their record shows them as a contender in the NFC. I don't see them going anywhere.
I think it's a little more than just the record. I mean, whenever you have Sean Payton as your head coach and a
No, I
defense
was
that's
just
playing very well.
they're a playoff team. They just don't make it out. There's no chance. Not
Well,
even
it's the same thing every
it's
year. They'll make it
0%.
there, but then, whether it's the luck of refs or the unluckiness of refs,
They
or
don't have the talent to go past the second round of the playoffs. They just don't.
yeah, we'll see once playoffs happen.
Yeah.
But next up, we got the Las Vegas Raiders. They're heading to New York to play the Giants. Well, they're really heading to New Jersey, but I mean, this is coming in a week, another, kind of situation game with the Raiders after what happened with Henry Ruggs.
Rip to his life. I won't even say NFL career. It's everything.
Oh, and of
He's
course, rest in peace the woman and dog involved in the other side of that.
26 miles an hour,
I,
something like that.
150, I thought.
Oh, maybe
Either
126.
way, that's no call,
You hit
uncalled
something
for.
at that fast, doesn't matter how it's built. He's lucky he's alive.
Yeah, but this isn't the first time the Raiders have had some
No, this is. I
situations
wasn't
in their.
shocked. Just
Um,
wasn't.
But I mean,
Oakland still though wins this game.
yeah, I mean Giants haven't looked that well, but
They haven't really looked great in what 2 seasons.
yeah. I'm gonna give the Giants the win here over Vegas. It's something about
the
it.
only
I
way they
mean,
do it is Saquon. You're gonna hear his name if he has 200 yards or more.
well, you might
total.
not even hear his name if he doesn't play.
Without
I
Saquon,
think,
they don't win. But that's my opinion.
I mean, Devonta Booker's, a good reliable backup. I mean, the Raiders
Yeah.
should know he was there last year. But I just think with everything going on in Las Vegas, it's gonna do some stuff. And I mean, Daniel Jones has been playing fairly well at some times, so it'll be interesting what he does against a Raiders team that has shined at times. But yeah, I'm gonna go New York here.
It is another one of those games like New Orleans. It could, but I'm still gonna go Oakland just because the Giants. I wish I could see more from them, but it's weird. It's just not good.
Yeah. But next up, we got the New England Patriots heading to play the Panthers. Panthers coming out of a tough win against the Falcons, but haven't looked well for much of the season since the beginnings. I'm gonna have to go Patriots here after coming off a very impressive win against the Chargers.
I'm gonna agree with you on that. It's a tough one. I like the Panthers, but the Patriots are just a little better put together team because of coaching.
Oh
That's what
yeah.
I'll give it to them.
I mean, there's
Now
a
McCaffrey, if McCaffrey was healthy on this current situation, I would pick the Panthers. But no McCaffrey, no win.
that's exactly how I am. I'm not picking I'm not picking Panthers again till Matt McCaffrey plays, and yes, maybe that did screw me out on a game last week against the Falcons, but oh well. Next up, we have a game where we should see some interesting things in. We have the Buffalo Bills coming into Jacksonville to play the Jaguars. Um, Do the Jaguars get their first win in the United States in over a year?
I don't think the Jaguars score over 10 points.
Yeah, I don't see that being very likely of happening.
Buffalo's just kind of on their own level right now in the NFL.
Yeah.
They might be 5-2, but just seems like the way they're playing. Even Dallas defense looks good and their offense is firing, but Buffalo just seems to flow better. I don't know.
Oh yeah. I mean, every once in a while, Josh Allen has these kind of not so good games. We saw that last week in Miami. But yeah, I mean, as long as they don't perform at the level of their opponent, which so far they haven't, they've blown out many of the teams they've played. I think Bills have this one easily.
Yeah, I agree.
Next up, we have of what should be a high scoring offensive game. We'll see if it actually happens. But we have the Vikings heading into Baltimore to play the Ravens. The Vikings have let me down a lot this year, definitely. They have the potential to be a good high scoring offense, but something's keeping it from them. But I mean, last time we saw the Ravens, they got kind of embarrassed against Cincinnati. I think they'll come back at home and play really well. I got the Ravens here.
I'm going to go Minnesota just based on the secondary of the Ravens being diminished so badly and the wide receiver talent the Vikings actually have.
Okay, I mean I see it.
But it's, yeah.
I don't know. I just Vikings just lost Danielle Hunter for the season. He was going to have to be a big part against this Ravens team.
Yeah, but Minnesota's defense is kind of like, in my opinion, it's very similar to the old Bears defense in the fact that, especially on the D line, yes, the star makes a difference, but not if you have a good rotation, it makes up for it or hides the fact that that may hinder you.
Yeah, I mean, if the
We'll see.
Vikings want to win, they're going to need a big game from Eric Kendricks, their linebacker, and against this
Kirk
run.
Cousins needs a big game,
I mean, that whole team needs a big game if they want Mike Zimmer to
and
stick
Dalvin
around.
Cook hasn't gone off in a while.
Yeah, this could be a game where that happens. We'll see, but yeah, I think the Ravens will win this one.
Minnesota.
We'll see what happens. But next up, we got the Chargers heading to Philly to play the Eagles. Chargers, Justin Herbert's having some, looks like some injury issues. Definitely wasn't playing at his highest last week against the Patriots. You think Chargers bounce back this week, or the Eagles continue?
I think the Chargers bounce back.
Yeah, I'm going kind of back and forth on this one. You know what? Give me the Eagles. Might be bad, but I just with Herbert not playing at 100%, I don't know how much I can, pick the Chargers.
No, I get it.
And we'll see maybe with the win against Detroit, they beat them fairly well. We'll see if maybe they try to evolve onto, a lot of that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I'm going to take the Eagles here and a little upset. But speaking of upsets, a game that, depending on how you look at things, could be an upset. We got the Aaron Rodgers-less Green Bay Packers heading into Kansas City to play the Chiefs.
The Chiefs are dysfunctional, and I'd like to use a different word, but we'll just say dysfunctional. But no Aaron Rodgers on Green Bay makes them a 2-win, 3-win team. Max.
Oh yeah. I mean, we've yet to see what Jordan Love is really possible of, but kind of how he played in the preseason, it wasn't, that special. I mean, it was preseason. It's hard to take, a lot of that with a grain of salt.
I mean, I just think it just really exposes them to what the Packers are like with no great quarterback.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll definitely have to see how much Jordan Love can rely on the weapons in Davante Adams and Aaron Jones, and we'll see, how good of a play caller Matt LaFleur really is without Rodgers. I think he is a really good head coach and is a good play caller. So we'll see, without Rodgers, how well he does against a Kansas City defense that has been very bad.
he does seem like a decent play caller. He's young, so it's very. I think he'll be around for a while. He's been around, but just not a head coach. I don't know. I don't dislike him.
Yeah, I don't know. I think just that Chiefs defense isn't that good,
No,
and
they
it's
just made, they
forcing.
just traded for another pass rusher though.
Yes, they did, and Mahomes. Not all of that is on him. A lot of his players are dropping balls, but the offense. If they're even without Aaron Rodgers, I think that offense needs to come and play. I mean, the Green Bay is missing some players on defense still. That's still
The
injured.
secondary is pretty.
So if they're gonna have a game where they step up and get back to what they can be, this is a game they need to win, and I'm gonna pick them to. I'm gonna go Kansas City.
I gotta go Kansas City too, and it's the simple fact that because I live in Wisconsin, I even am very young in my lifetime. I saw the Packers with a subpar. I'm not even gonna call him subpar, but Don Mikowski was Magic Man. Took him to the playoffs before Favre went in, but most people I know don't remember that, or they weren't alive. So I'm living in a world in Wisconsin here that has never seen the Packers struggle at quarterback, barring an injury in the season. Yes, that they
Well,
just
even
check
some of
out
their
on the season.
backups.
But
We've seen Matt Flynn come in and keep them alive to stay in the playoffs a
yeah,
couple
they are
times.
they are very. You could some would say blessed. I say spoiled
I call them a
franchise.
team that's very lucky when it comes to the regular season, but their luck always runs out in the playoffs.
Yeah, but they've. I maybe call it jealousy because I'm a Bears fan, and they've had two quarterbacks that would crush any Bears quarterback all time.
And who
So
knows, maybe Jordan Love keeps the trend going.
it's always a first
There
for
is
three in a row.
always. It is hard to do three in a row.
I don't think it's ever been done. This will be the first time.
Yes. But let's look at the next game. We have a NFC West showdown. The Arizona Cardinals, the newly non-undefeated Arizona Cardinals, heading into San Francisco to play the 49ers. I think this will be a pretty good game. I think 49ers got some momentum in that win against the Bears last week.
See, the thing is, sometimes you watch the Niners and Jimmy G looks poised, composed, and like outstanding, and then they suck. So Arizona showed how vulnerable they are in some spots last week. I'm gonna go Arizona, just because the 49ers are kind of still disheveled team. I don't know why, they just are.
I think this is definitely a must-win for San Francisco. Division rival at home. Give me the 49ers. Robbie Gold's expected to come back. I think he'll be very key if they do win. It seems like it's always low-scoring games for the most part in these NFC West showdowns. And I think Robbie's going to be good for Gold and help them get a win.
Moving on.
All right, next up, we got the Sunday Night Football game. We got the Tennessee Titans heading to LA to play the Rams. This is going to be a big game for Ryan Tannehill. They lost Derrick Henry for potentially the season. So that puts a lot more weight on his shoulders. I mean, they brought in Adrian Peterson, but we'll see what he's like nowadays. But I think the Rams have this one. I mean, they just traded for Von Miller. We'll see how he plays within the mix of all those amazing players they have on defense. But I mean, Rams are going to keep rolling. I will like
The
to
Titans
see.
have to prove to me that they can pass the ball to the guys that paid a lot of money to.
Oh yeah, I mean Tannehill and the games where Derrick Henry has been stopped. We see Week 1 when he wasn't able to run a lot. Ryan Tannehill struggled, especially the pass rush he'll be going up against in Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Leonard Floyd. So I want to see what Ryan Tannehill has. I mean, I know he's a good quarterback, but let's see what it's like without Derrick Henry.
Adrian Peterson rushes for 1,000 yards, yes or no?
In half a season, if this was 10 years ago, definitely. I think he can still be pretty well. but he hasn't played in a while too. So
I don't even want to call it. It was just I wanted to see what you react. I wanted to call it, but I don't. It's a hard one. He could. It's possible. I just don't think it's gonna happen. He takes care of himself.
oh yeah, he definitely does. Um, I mean,
But they won't put that much weight on his back unless he has breakout games.
not at first at least. I feel
No.
they'll definitely maybe try to not rely, but look at some of the other
They
guys they
should
have
pass,
there. Oh yeah.
but I would say their offensive line is more geared towards running, not pass blocking, though.
Well, when you have Derrick Henry, you shape your whole offense around it, even with the
Well,
weapons they
you
have.
go out and get Julio Jones, and then you use the other talented receivers you have. I don't. There's games that they play and they don't do anything.
I mean, this will definitely be a tough game for them. We'll see.
It's
Well,
kind
we'll
of a.
see.
It is exactly. It's everyone's gonna be watching Tennessee to see what they do.
Exactly. But in this next game, I don't think many people are going to watch it. Um, we got the Chicago Bears heading to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers.
I actually think the Bears win this game, and I don't. I think the Bears defense comes and has one of those games. Mac or no Mac, it doesn't matter.
I kind of agree with you. I mean, if the Bears are going to win this, they need that defense too, and I think it's very possible. But at the same time, look at the Steelers' defense, and it's one of the better ones they've played. I mean, look at what they
They did
did
just
last.
trade away a pass rusher, didn't they?
They did, but even with that, I mean, who's gonna block T.J. Watt? He's gonna be lining up against Borum, the rookie, who it's gonna be his second career start, and
Fields is faster than him.
is he though?
Ah,
But at the same time, the way he throws, sometimes he
yeah,
makes
he
these
has a great.
throws.
No, I like his throwing motion. It's great. You know, compared to like someone like Tim Tebow, oh Jesus, big difference. But
It's not even comparable.
sometimes I think he's still processing. Do I run the ball like 15 yards or do I throw? And
Oh,
I think
definitely. And
That's why
with
he's taking sacks on plays that, in my opinion, I don't know how he didn't get out of it because he's doing a 10-yard drop, and a guy comes unblocked, but he just takes it.
yeah, he's definitely still, trying to get the hang of, the
It doesn't help
NFL.
when we're shifting our offensive line.
No, it definitely doesn't. And the receivers aren't doing him much help. I mean, Mooney's had several catches,
He likes Mooney,
turned into interceptions.
but he likes Mooney though. He
Yeah.
passes to Mooney the most.
The thing that worries me though is we are relying a lot on the run, and if what we saw last
of it.
week,
It's on the run and defense.
oh yeah, and what we see last week with Pittsburgh against the Browns, and they completely took out the run. It'll be interesting to see if they can continue that against the Bears.
I'm just hoping it's all Bears defense for me. I'm just hoping Big Ben has a Big Ben game, which is 3-4 picks. I mean, because he has more of those than good games lately in the past few seasons. So
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go Pittsburgh here.
Chicago.
I, I just, I don't know. I don't. I'm not. I just.
I don't think the Bears win like anything long term. This is a game that I think they should win. Will they? I think so, but
And
I
I feel
hope
like
so.
this is a game that the Pittsburgh Steelers should probably win. So, I don't know. Both these teams aren't really that good,
No,
but
they're
Pittsburgh's been winning games that they need to, and who knows, maybe they make a push here. I mean,
Yeah,
they're in a
maybe.
tough division, but they just beat the Browns, and that helps a lot. So we'll see how they play, against Baltimore,
Yeah.
and when they play Cincinnati again. But that's all the games we have for you. Let's move on to the Add a Legend, where we look at players of NFL teams past and how bringing them back would help the team, be a lot better and possibly win a Super Bowl. And for this week, we have a team where no matter who you put on them, you would need like 10 of these legendary players to maybe help them win a Super Bowl. But we're only going to do one. But this week, we're going to look at the Detroit Lions. Who do you think gives them a shot to maybe win a game?
Well, here you said that perfectly, and that's why my brain always. What do you think of Lions? Barry Sanders, or Calvin Johnson, but that like you said, you need 10 of them, and I don't even know if they win it then. But that's why I picked Dick LeBeau because he was a talented player, corner, but his defensive mind as a coach, I guess if you use his football IQ, maybe he's a better coach. Doesn't say he had to be a player, and he isn't on the team. He is retired.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, he was Steelers defensive mind for so many years and helped them bring so many top defenses. Yeah. So, I mean, he does not only bring, a very good player into a team that needs it, but, you're right, his mind, maybe being like a kind of a sidelines kind of guy coaching at the same time as playing. We haven't really seen that for a couple decades.
Well, here I'm gonna use my age as an example. When the all I can remember, you put Barry Sanders in the Lions now, they're the same as they were when he played for them. If they're that good, right now, putting Barry Sanders on today's Lions, same as Calvin Johnson. That one guy doesn't make the impact that possibly Dick LeBeau might make, but more upside, I guess.
Yeah. Um, it's funny you mentioned those players though, that they don't help as much as maybe Dick LeBeau because I'm going Calvin Johnson for the simple fact when you have a quarterback like Jared Goff who's been struggling a lot. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen him just throw it away on a fourth down. Where, give him a player like Calvin Johnson, where instead of just throwing it away, you can just throw it to him and he'll catch almost anything. Where, yes, they're maybe not going to win a Super Bowl adding Calvin Johnson, but, that team, it makes that offense a lot better. I mean, they're struggling with weapons. I mean, they have, DeAndre Swift and TJ Hawkinson. Go for it.
Just a reason I say that is because that's what Matt Stafford did, and where did they go? That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, they went to the playoffs.
He did force feed Calvin, and I know Calvin's one of the great. He may not. I think he's one of the greatest receivers of all time. I don't know if he'll be a top 5. I really don't. I don't think he will be. Based on like Larry Fitzgerald, how do you not put Larry ahead of him? I think you have to. Larry wasn't as fast. They're about the same size. Maybe Larry's a little smaller, but Larry's.
He didn't drop balls.
And he played inside, outside. Just a very skilled player with limited talent.
He was a hard worker. I mean,
limited talent.
He was tough.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call him slow. Maybe, obviously later in his career, but I mean.
To Calvin, he was.
Oh, yeah, but he's still like, look at the Super Bowl. He had a lot, that long touchdown run where he just kind of like went up the seam, outran everybody.
It's just one of those things where it's like you said, I don't think there's one person who can fix the Lions. I think there's probably half the NFL teams. You add one person, makes them a serious team. But the Lions aren't one. The Bears, I don't think, are one either.
Oh no.
Sometimes I like to believe that if we had Aaron Rodgers, we could be somewhere where the Packers' record is. But
maybe.
But I don't know what he would do.
That's a what if.
Yep.
But, I mean, to go along with Calvin Johnson, a lot of people feel that the Detroit Lions are cursed because of the Lions forcing Calvin Johnson to pay back the money he was due when he retired. So bringing him back maybe cancels out that curse. But, that's what ifs. That's kind of some myth going with it. And, it's Detroit Lions. Detroit's been cursed in their sports teams forever. No, it's going to be a long time until another team from Detroit wins something. But that's all we have for you today. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification on YouTube. Smash the like button every time. 24/7, just smash it all day. But, social medias.
Come on and talk crap to us.
Oh, yeah. If you want to come on.
It doesn't matter what you want to do. Just If you want to debate, if you want to call us idiots, or if you agree with what we say, just hop
Or
on.
yeah, just hop on, talk some sports with us. Doesn't matter the sports. Maybe teach us something if it's a sport you think we don't know anything about. But do that. Follow our socials. They'll be linked below. But
Not Social Securities.
no, I'm not gonna give that out. Unless you guys want some free stuff. But you'll go to jail. Don't go to jail. Have a good weekend, everybody.